got a pick six. Pike tricked up and then ends the world with the big one-hand. Here's the pitch. Back up the middle, that's going to be trouble. That one hit the post and then headed in.
This year, we've, leaped. And again, I think it's super exciting.
We're in that tricky part where the NBA draft won't happen for another month. Free agency doesn't officially start until after that, but we're still going to talk about the offseason and what the Spurs' priorities should be. Bobby Mendez, Hector Ledesma, the sports update presented by Martinez and Associates. Another episode. We are so glad that you could join us for what's now our 6th, 7th show. I'm losing track at this point, Bobby.
It's about 6-1 and, more than halfway through the season, if you will, for us. But, what an interesting few episodes we've had. Some great ones and another great one today.
Yeah. We're going to take you through, as originally planned, through the last week of June, and then we'll pick up again after that. But first things first, talking about today's show, Cowboys. State champions coming by to visit, so a lot going on here on the Sports Update presented by Martinez and Associates. But we're going to start with those Dallas Cowboys because they started organized team activities, which are essentially practices. They're mini camps, really, but the first time that they get to go out there officially and practice by NFL sanctioned standards together. Several storylines. Dak Prescott, he's back after season-ending injury last year. Micah Parsons, what awaits him on the contract front? He's going to get paid. The question is, how much will that affect the Cowboys? Of course, C.D. Lamb, the number one receiver for the Cowboys, he appears to have help now in the form of George Pickens. And so, Bobby, as you look at the Cowboys and starting these offseason workouts, is there anything that sticks out to you?
Yeah, so the most important thing, Dak Prescott coming back, able to start. I think he's going to be released or to be able to go full contact here within the next few days. But it's a great opportunity for them to get those draft picks in, even their most recent receiver coming in, Pickens, so everyone can get on that same page with timing. And, of course, with Dak Prescott being out for so long, it's going to be a much necessary thing to get that timing back with his teammates.
My thing is I wonder, Micah Parsons, like, the Cowboys' sin for years and years and years in the Jerry Jones era has always been they overpay for guys and it hamstrings the salary cap, right? Mm-hmm. At the same time, Micah Parsons is a little bit different in that you're not just throwing money at a receiver now quarterback's important, right? But you're not paying the wrong quarterback. As Cowboy fans will have told you with Prescott and Romo before that in terms of the big contracts for quarterbacks who don't ultimately end up taking you to where you need to go. But I'm wondering if Parsons is a little bit different. Like, is he the guy, to me, is what I'm asking myself, is he the guy that is worth basically pulling the truck up and saying, here, this is all your money, we're going to figure the rest of it out? Or has he come back down to earth a little bit the last couple of years after a monstrous start to his career? And yes, he's a wonderfully gifted player, and he's got a lot of impact, but there comes a point where you gotta weigh the money to the impact.
Yeah, and the Cowboys have not been shy about dishing out that money for those players. The thing is getting that comfort level of when they have that, and can they continue to still perform once they have that big cushy contract. But Parsons has been one of the most consistent Cowboys for quite a while. So it is going to be important to lock that guy down.
Yeah, and for anybody who says, look, Hector, you dummy, you give Parsons all the money he wants because of what he is, and as you mentioned, he's been consistent. It just seems like the best teams in the NFL don't tie up their money outside of the quarterbacks that will win you championships, or in the Bills and Bengals case, who will get you there, although everyone knows Josh Allen hasn't gone to the Super Bowl. Outside of quarterback, who's proven it, there's not many other receivers you can make a tackle, rusher, but there's not many other positions where teams that are successful, end up being successful, tie up their money just in one place to where so much of it goes just to that one spot. Changing gears now to the Spurs. You heard Jeremy Sohan a little while ago. Here's what Jeremy had to say totally in terms of looking forward to what should be an exciting offseason.
It's the third year, and every year, I feel like there's been a progress. It's been, again, it's the process, but I think, this year, we've leaped. And again, I think it's super exciting to most of us are getting healthy. So this summer's gonna be huge. It's gonna be a big summer. So no, we're super excited.
Jeremy's saying there, hey, look, we're progressing every single year. He just went through his third season with the Spurs. As they head into this offseason, Bobby, I know we're looking at, a lot of things coming up. They've got the number 2 overall pick. They've got another lottery pick at 14. There's Giannis stock, the whole deal. What do you think should be just generally, though, going forward? Remove yourself a little bit from the situation of the number 2 pick and those specifics. What do you think they need to emphasize and basically execute with or on heading into next season?
Great question, Hector. The overall, in my opinion, and it's been the need for the past several years, since we lost the big 3, we need a big veteran presence. We need someone on the court that's going to stick up for those young guys when they're playing against those veterans that sometimes it feels like they get a little bit bullied around on the court. So I think a big presence from a big veteran player is what we need. Now, of course, yes, we have a great fortune to be in the positions to be in the 2nd overall pick in the draft, and of course the 14th pick as well. So we have all of those combinations, as we heard Bill Land last week talk about. Hey, those guys in the front office, they know what they're doing and they can put this thing together. But if you're asking me, I think that's the most important thing, is getting a veteran here, getting someone that is like a Chris Paul, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we just had. And I thought that he did great coming in here. But I think a big man with that kind of same type of with history and that same type of basketball knowledge that can help those guys down low.
Speaking of Chris Paul, do you have a gut feeling on bringing him back? Because he was just a 1-year contract, so this is it for him unless he resigns.
Yeah, again, pretty heavy at the guard spot, but I think Chris's knowledge is so valuable that we need to make a way if he wants to be here, maybe in a more limited role or maybe in a coaching kind of role. I think it's important for him to be here, but it's ultimately up to him whether he wants to go through that grind another year.
It's funny. Here I am a week later, and I still don't know fully where I am on the whole Giannis thing because I look at the Spurs and, young talent isn't their problem, right? They've got Wemby,
right.
They've got Castle, they've got Fox. You think if they don't make a huge move, they're going to draft more than likely Dylan Harper at number 2. That's young talent. How long does it need to, though, to grow together? Everybody says, you get those guys and they grow together. That's true. But how long does that take? What's that window? Whereas if you get Giannis now, that window is immediately expedited, or the path is expedited. But at the same time, I do see the value in having Castle, Fox, Wemby, potentially Harper, grow together. I see that. I see what that can be 3-4 years from now. And then I go back to, yes, but Wemby's under contract for 2 more years. That's it. Guaranteed. And if the Kawhi Leonard thing taught us nothing, and I know some of you might say, don't compare Kawhi to Wemby. That's blasphemous. Stop being dumb, Hector. If you look at Kawhi's early career, nobody could have foreseen that what ended up happening. He was the shy, unassuming. All he wanted to do was play basketball, and then look what happened.
Right.
Now, again, that doesn't mean that the same thing's going to happen with Vic, but you are fooling yourself if you think automatically we're going to have Victor here for 10 years.
Yeah, you're right. If you think that's not a possibility, it's a possibility. And I was just having this conversation the other day with a good friend of mine about, hey, exactly that. Well, let's prepare for the future. Well, the future's here. We've been, we can win now, assumingly, right? If we get that big draw, if we get Giannis, our window does get a little bit closer to having things happen a lot quicker than later. And he's like, well, why not wait till later? I said, well, we've been waiting, right?
Yeah.
When was the last time we had a championship? 2014.
Yeah.
So let's go for it, right? Why prolong it? You have a healthy Giannis, a great team, a great young team. And in my opinion, as we started off this particular question, was that we do need a big veteran down low and someone that will keep this Spur team focused.
We're going to talk about the NBA going on right now in the playoffs after the break. And then later on in the show, state champions in the house. A visit for the Central Catholic Buttons just brought back a second straight title to San Antonio. The sports update presented by Martinez and Associates rolls on.
Ready! Set! Go!
It's a bad idea to run a foot race against these guys, just like it's a bad idea to go up against the billion-dollar auto insurance industry all alone.
Hire Martinez and Associates. With us, it's personal.
You're gonna see me shine, 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 shine. Walking on beams of light, 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 light. Oh, oh, oh.
Both conference finals set. You got Minnesota and Oklahoma City in the West, and the Thunder getting a huge victory in Game 1. You've got Indiana and New York, a throwback to the 90s in the East. And let's take a look at that schedule. Caesar, awesome job pulling that up. Minnesota and the Thunder, mentioning OKC going up 1-0. Gilgeous-Alexander just phenomenal in Game 1, and that is a Thunder team that has everything. We're going to get into it here in a minute. Size, speed, depth, they got just about all of it. And on the East, you got the Pacers and the Knicks. That series, Game 1 starting Wednesday night, and so that'll be a fun series to keep tabs on as those final 4 teams vie for spots in the NBA Finals. Martinez and Associates, 337-1111, the number to call. Again, 337-1111. Martinez-law.com is the website. Martinezlaw.com, the website. Check them out. Ever in need, give them a call. Look them up. Martinez and Associates. To us, it's personal, and it is for them. Okay, so Bobby, when you look at these 2 conference series, do you have a favorite in the West and or the East?
Just personally, I'm looking at Minnesota. I think Minnesota will beat Oklahoma overall. And then on the East, I like the Knicks. I like their energy. I like the city's energy. And just the way they finished out their last round was pretty good to watch. So Knicks, Minnesota, I think, is going to be at the end of the day.
I'm gonna go Knicks, but Thunder.
Okay.
I think Oklahoma City just reminds me right now of a young buzzsaw that's getting it done with a bunch of good players. Now SGA is fantastic at the top, right? Like he's wonderfully gifted, very, very good. But I think ultimately they will beat the Timberwolves. And then the Knicks Pacers is kind of interesting because I think a lot of folks were anticipating Celtics Cavs, and you got neither. But what's interesting to me is for the Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton and the run that he's on, like it's almost like he's reminding me a little bit of a maybe even a better version of, like, you know how Jimmy Butler shows up in the playoffs every single year and you're like, dude, there's playoff Jimmy.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Tyrese Halliburton is setting the stage for there's playoff Halliburton, playoff Tyrese. I feel like he's going to be that kind of player for years to come.
Yeah, he's been a big impact for Indiana, and he's one of the ones that I always like to watch when I'm watching the Pacers. You know, our good friend Coach Villafranca, huge Pacers fan.
Yeah. All right, so we'll see what happens in those finals before the NBA finals start in early June. Again, still much more to come right here on the Sports Update presented by Martinez and Associates. Central Catholic, 2-time now back-to-back baseball champions. Even more throughout their history. We're back to chat with the head coach and one of their best players after this.
Been in a crash? It's illegal for lawyers to contact you first. If yours did, it could ruin your case. Don't trust law firms that break the law. Choose Martinez and Associates, voted San Antonio's best law firm 3 years in a row. After you've been in a crash, go with the law firm you can trust. Call Martinez and Associates. With us, it's personal.
Call 210-337-1111. That's 210-337-1111.
State champions in the house right here on the Sports Update presented by Martinez and Associates. Central Catholic head coach Matt Flores and third baseman, stud closer J.D. Amezcua. Fellas, first of all, congratulations on bringing a state championship back to San Antonio. A second straight for Central Catholic. And so let's talk about first, has it set in yet? When you win a championship like that, how much time does it take before you begin to process it?
It's still settling. It's still settling. It's still exciting, to be a double back-to-back state champ. So it's still hitting me a little bit.
Coach?
The same. After the first one, it was okay. We haven't done it in 40 years, and then the second one, it's like we did it again, right? We're still kind of I don't want to say in shock, but it's a different feeling than after the first one for sure.
Yeah, and this, for Coach Flores, his first full season as head coach of the Buttons. Now, this is your 8th year overall at Central Catholic. Previously, the associate head coach, and then before that, an assistant under legendary head coach Danny Heap. And take us through that journey for you, coaches, to come to Central, 8 years, now 2 state championships, and in your first year as a head coach, you lead the Buttons to glory.
Well, it's been a journey for sure. Playing for Coach Heap at Incarnate Word, coaching under him for 5 years there, and him bringing me along with his next move to Central was a blessing, obviously. So starting as assistant and moving into the associate head coach role was a goal of mine, and taking over this last year was obviously another goal of mine, and definitely been a journey, but an awesome journey that I'm blessed that he gave me this opportunity 8 years ago. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. Love the community, love Central Catholic, the program, what it stands for. The brotherhood, right? And it's a real thing over there at Central Catholic. But yeah, it was awesome, and it's been a good experience for me and my family the last 8 years at Central.
Coach, we're surrounded by buttons here today, but so amazing. I want you to talk a little bit more about the culture of Central Catholic. It's rich history with so many notable alum. Just talk about what it means to coach there and what it means to be there for you when you get a chance.
So for me, the alumni have embraced me since we arrived, me and Coach Heap, and they're a big supporter of the guys, right? The boys at school, and they want the best for the school and especially the best for the boys, and they come back for homecoming, to the baseball games, to wild game dinner. I mean, they're there all the time. And at first, it was a little different for me coming from Robstown, right? Totally different, not private school sector at all. And it's been different, but it's a unique place. It's an awesome place, and the alumni, like I said, they take care of us, and they really enjoy seeing our success, especially on the baseball field, and they want the best for the guys.
And JT, talk a little bit about that for you. What it means to you to be in such a great school and with the alumni that is so prominent here in San Antonio.
Oh, it's different for me as well. Coming from public middle school, I was real more isolated over there, I would say. So just coming to Central Catholic, I felt welcomed. Like as a family, everyone welcomes me. Like everyone's just by my side. They support me and they just want the best for me. As becoming a young man, and the students too. They become my brothers. We connect real well, and I can't ask for better brothers over there.
It's one of the things I've always respected about Central Catholic is the close camaraderie that everyone has there. So congratulations again for that amazing ride. And I'm sure still looking forward to more things for next year for you guys.
Yes, we got, we have 7 guys coming back from a back-to-back state championship team.
No pressure, Coach.
Yeah,
no pressure.
Was getting the Texas high school baseball. After you win a state championship, you get all these guys wanting to talk to you, and they're like, Coach, in three-peat? I'm like, hey, relax. Let us enjoy this one. We're still enjoying the first one, right?
Yeah.
Let us enjoy this one, and we'll talk here in a couple months. But, yeah, we're excited. We're excited. It's a good place to be right now for Central Catholic. Our enrollment's thriving. Obviously being the baseball coach there, our baseball program's thriving. And like I said, I'm blessed.
Yeah, because we can all thank Pat Riley for that one, right? 3-peat. What do you say we do it again right there at your championship parade?
Right.
Now, can we celebrate this one first,
exactly.
please?
Exactly.
JD, so all district, all state for you. You're a senior. Mm-hmm. Were you on the mound for the final out up in Arlington in that state final?
Yes, sir.
So take me through that. What's that like? Pitch goes up. You got 2 outs. It's a pop up. What's going through you when you know this is it? This is it.
I was just waiting to celebrate. You know, I trusted my second baseman to make the catch, and he did. And I was excited to celebrate with my brothers, and it was a joy.
And then when it happens, is it release? Is it joy? Is it because you guys had won it the year before? Is it kind of a weight off the shoulders because maybe there's an expectation there that wasn't there last year?
Definitely
Is it possible to describe everything that comes in that moment?
Well, I mean, before the season started, I knew, like, in this team, the goal was state. It's always been state. And when we got there, I had a deep feeling that we're going to take it all again because, you know, the connection we have with the team, it's a brotherhood, you know, like you said. And, I mean, with a team like that, it's hard to beat. So when we connect and we fight and we grind, it's hard to beat a team like that. So when we won, man, it was just exciting to celebrate with them one last time. One last time was exciting.
By the way, if you're watching this before Friday, JD is going to graduate on Friday. So because of that, at the time of the taping right now, congrats on the upcoming graduation. In addition to winning, boy, it doesn't get much better than that, right? In the span of a week, you win state and then you graduate.
Yes,
and then take us through your future. You got a bright future, and you're looking to continue your baseball career as well.
I'll be going to Alvin Community College up in Houston, playing third base and maybe a little bit of second. And I'll be studying sports medicine.
Yeah, and there's a tie to you there with Alvin, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Take us through that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm from Robstown, Texas, small town down in the Corpus Christi area. Went to Alvin for 2 years, and then I finished off at Incarnate Word. So yeah, there's the Dolphins, baby. That's my junior college years.
The Dolphins.
JD, take us through your high school career, freshman year. Talk about the journey on the baseball team.
Okay. So my freshman year, I was surrounded by great teammates, great leaders and stuff. We went back to state my freshman year, and sadly we lost to Prestonwood. But being around those guys, it helped me become a leader. It set a standard of what I needed to be for these my senior years and my junior years. So and after my freshman loss, you know, obviously I was bummed, I was sad. So my next 3 years, my goal was just to get back to state and take my brothers to state. Sophomore year was a little bit, you know, we're kind of getting there. We didn't make it. We lost first round against Bishop Lynch. But my junior year, fall ball, as we prepared, you know, I had a feeling that we're gonna go back to state and we're gonna win it. And that's what we did. And you know, just the team coming together. Like I said, it's all that. You know, you can't beat a team like that. And then my senior year, you know, we worked harder, you know, because there was more expectations. There's a lot of doubt from other people saying we weren't supposed to win last year.
Oh.
So, I mean, we were just like, okay, we'll do it again. We'll do it again if you have to prove it. And that's what we did, and just loved it.
Some validation.
Yeah, JD mentioning that they lost to Plano Prestonwood his freshman year in the state final. That's who you just beat to win the state championship. So how about a 4-year career in baseball that saw a trip to state, another playoff appearance, and then back-to-back state championships? Not bad.
Sir.
Not bad at all. And I say that sarcastically. Coach, you know, JD talked about the expectation this year as opposed to maybe last year. Hey, you guys weren't supposed to win it this year. That was gone this year. There was an expectation there, right? So how did you handle that? And to handle that in your first year is that, yes, you've been with the program, but taking over as now the head guy and dealing with that expectation, I imagine that was not easy.
Yeah, it wasn't. Just like I told in the banquet a couple of days ago, this was kind of one of the hardest years as a coaching staff because these guys won it. You know, they won it that last year, and these guys, you know, they were excited. And we got the key to the city. We got all these banquets. We got all these dinners. And these guys were kind of big-headed going into the season, right? So I had to reel them in. You know, I felt like the first 5 months, you know, of fall and going into the spring, and it was tough in that aspect, but these guys were talented. I knew they were talented. We had brought 8 guys coming back, so we had some experience going in to the season. And, you know, that, just like JD said, that was our goal from day one, was state. And we set it every day. And just so they can, you know, understand this is why we work hard. This is why we do what we do. And, you know, we went back. And, you know, they played well all year. And the season we played a really competitive schedule. And it showed. We weren't these guys. They don't back down. They don't back down. They never give up, and it showed when we were in crunch situations at the last 4 series going into the state tournament. We went to a 3-game series with St. Thomas in a 1-0 game where we scored late and they were up and it was back and forth. Same thing with St. Pius. Really good team out of Houston, back and forth. We came out on top. Prestonwood, this guy goes on the mound, second and third, 2 outs with one of the best players in the country up to hit with the first base open, and this guy makes a pitch and pops him up, and we win. So,
Coach, I think you touched on something that was pretty important, keeping those guys level-headed after winning the state championship. A lot of times, just after having a successful season, whether it's making the playoffs or a deep run in the playoffs, that's difficult too. But having the ultimate prize and then going back and getting it all over again, I think that says a lot to you as a coach and to your staff and the entire team. So I think that's pretty
appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Amazing.
Yeah, and speaking of the staff, Coach Heap very much still a part of the program.
Yes, sir. Yeah. A huge part of the program.
Yeah.
He's mentored me for so many years. I've been with him for, I think, overall maybe 15 years. Playing for him, coaching under him in 2 different spots, and he's a big part of our program, of our success at Central. He's our hitting coach, and what more do you want as a ex-major leaguer as your hitting coach, right? In the cage, constantly, reminding these hitters, hey, this is what you got to do. This is what we do. This is what we do. So, yeah, he's been a huge part of our success.
So, Central winning it under the TAPS umbrella, highest level of TAPS Division I. But for anybody who either doesn't follow Central or who didn't follow this year's particular team, routinely, Central is one of the better baseball programs in Greater San Antonio and even the region, public schools included. Sure. And so this year, victories against Johnson, who's a perennial state power when it comes to baseball and really all sports. New Braunfels has won a state championship before. Mm-hmm. So you guys knocked off some really good programs, not just the Antonians and Holy Crosses and St. Anthony's of the world. Right. You guys beat some of the best in this area, period, on your way to another championship.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's adversity. We've always talked about adversity over here at Central Catholic Baseball, and it's just, we go through it. We don't go around it. We face it, and we find a way to come out top.
Yeah, it was every year we set up the schedule. We want to play the best in the city, and being from Corpus, I try to play a Corpus team, the Cal Allens, the
right.
Tolosa Midways, the Robstowns. And just to put these guys up against some of the better baseball in the area, South Texas, and the TAPS baseball. Some of you guys don't know about TAPS, and those teams out of Houston and Dallas, and even San Antonio. I don't think we get a lot of recognition in San Antonio, but the teams out of Houston and Dallas, they're good, and they got Division I guys. Their lineup's 9 guys. They got 7 Division I guys, and I'm talking Texas and A&M and Missouri, guys like that, And so TAPS baseball is a big deal, and these guys, they put in the work, and going back to the schedule we make, we put a tough schedule. We go to the Northeast tournament, we go to the Kerrville tournament and Northside tournament. So we're facing the best teams that we can possibly face, just to get us ready for a playoff run every year.
Outstanding. Back to back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead. I was just, before we were going to go, I was going to say, if we get a close-up of that beautiful ring.
Oh, yeah. That's got to be last year's ring. So there's another one on the way.
We're working
coming.
on it. We're working on it.
So can we get, just between you, me, and everybody who's watching, can we get a little sneak peek as to what the new one might look like?
Well, I got a ring
what are the
committee.
Initial ideas?
Really? Yeah, I got a ring committee this year. The guys, and it was kind of a joke, and I said, hey, all right, we're working on rings again, right? And so there's 4 or 5 guys who are doing our ring committee, right? So we got a first mock-up a couple of days ago. I actually got 2 mock-ups on my phone right now, so these guys are excited, man. It's just an exciting time when you see these guys work so hard and get rewarded at the end. And, there's nothing like, a ring, man, at the end. And wearing it proud when I go to these conventions and the guys all, yeah, come on, coach. But it's awesome. And these guys have done, have opened up some doors for me and myself and just, creating some opportunities for me as a coach and just, we got some good players at Central Catholic. So,
where do you keep last year's ring?
I have it in the box, standing in my room. Yeah. It's in the shelf, but it's right there. So when I wake up, I look to my right, and it's right there. I see it every time. I see it every time.
All district, all state, and all academic. Yes. All academic as well to boot.
Yes.
JD Amesqua. Congratulations,
Thank you.
my guy. First year head coach, 8 year at Central Catholic, state championship, 2-time state champions right here with head coach Matt Flores and JD. Again, congratulations, guys. Thank you for bringing another state championship back to San Antonio, and in your case, another for you guys as well.
Yes,
Central Catholic, 2-time, back-to-back state champions in TAPS. What a fantastic accomplishment. And again, we wish you guys the best on that three-peat next year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're back to wrap up the show. Hey, not done yet. Some Astros talk and, that conversation, that thing that's going on all around sports. Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, we'll get into that. Sports Update presented by Martinez Associates continues after this.
Been in a crash? It's illegal for lawyers to contact you first. If yours did, it could ruin your case. Don't trust law firms that break the law. Choose Martinez and Associates, voted San Antonio's best law firm 3 years in a row. After you've been in a crash, go with the law firm you can trust. Call Martinez and Associates. With us, it's personal.
Call 210-337-1111. That's 210-337-1111.
Started in college when Reese was at LSU and Clark was doing her thing at Iowa, and it started with a national championship game. Reese was mocking Clark, and from that point on, there's been a rivalry. Now, to her credit, Caitlin Clark's like, nah, I'm good. I don't really want much part of it. But it escalated with a flagrant foul over the weekend where Caitlin Clark was called for the flagrant foul on Reese. Reese reacted, and then here come people saying she's angry, she hates Caitlin Clark, and so therein lies the narrative that we have now. You have thoughts on this?
Yeah, I do have thoughts on this, Hector, and I think overall, I think it's great for the game, right? It's two passionate players going at it. If this is on the men's side, we're not talking about this.
But the bottom line is to behave like the race aspect to this does not matter. You're simply fooling yourself if you think that.
Yeah, and I can agree with that as well. My point is, on that basketball court, that play in particular,
no doubt,
that is a basketball play. All the other stuff that's coming up, the aftermath of that, yes, that's when you can introduce, this is behavioral or however you want to address it. But again, when it comes down to it, in my opinion, I feel the WNBA can treat this exactly like how they treated this with Bird and Magic back in the day.
Martinez and Associates, 337-1111, the number to call. Again, 337-1111. Martinez-law.com is the website. Martinezlaw.com, the website. Check them out. Ever in need, give them a call. Look them up. Martinez and Associates. To us, it's personal. Coming off a split with the Rangers, they played 4 against Texas. First time they met this year. Astros took 2. Rangers took 2. After that, they got a big series with the Yankees, and they've got a big series with the Mariners, who are currently in first place in the AL West. All right, that'll do it for this week's edition of the Sports Update, brought to you by Martinez and Associates. Hope you join us again next week. For Bobby, Hector, we will see you then. Have a great week and a great weekend, everybody.
You're gonna see me shine, 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 walking on beams of light.